Hello guys, so this video I'm going to make it in such a way that I'll pin it on my page because I'm receiving repeating questions of the same thing. One person asked, can I get pregnant if I have intercourse one day before my period? Another person asked, can I get pregnant if I have intercourse one day after my period? So to help with this, in addition to my earlier videos, because I notice sometimes a lot of people don't watch the video before they ask the question. So I'm going to pin this one and make sure it takes care of all the questions at once. Let's discuss the female reproductive cycle that is popularly and scientifically known as the uterine cycle. It is a repetitive monthly cycle. When I say cycle, it comes and goes through phases, round and starts again. From the moment this girl reaches the age of puberty till she gets to menopause. 11, 12, 13, it starts till she gets to 45 to 55. The purpose of this is that you know when you are likely to get pregnant, when you are safe, what each phase means, and it will help us understand the female reproductive system in that aspect as a whole. The reason why this cycle repeats itself over and again is basically to prepare the body for a potential pregnancy, because there should be some steps, some preparation that will occur for this woman to get pregnant. So it usually starts with menstruation. When a child is growing up, the moment she starts menstruating, you say, oh, this girl has said a cycle. So day 1 to 5 is the first phase, which is menstruation. And it's the shedding of the uterine lining, the lining of the uterus, which shows that there was no pregnancy. This shedding and what you see, blood, can take about 3 to 7 days. So it means there was no pregnancy. The uterine wall was cleared and shed, so you are seeing it out. Immediately after is the follicular phase, follicles. So what the body now does, or what the body now does is the follicular stimulating hormone that is produced from the brain will now tell the ovary, begin to mature one egg in the ovary, preparing it for release. At the same time, estrogen that is also in the body will begin to go up to make the lining of the uterus that was shed before to start thickening. Two things are going on. The follicular stimulating hormone from the brain is stimulating the follicles. Look, you guys, mature one egg for me. Meanwhile, the estrogen is telling the lining of the uterus to thicken, the lining that was shed before, to thicken. As follicular phase. Estrogen is working, follicular stimulating hormone is working. Day 1, 2, 13. Day 14. Now, day 14 is assuming that you are in a 28-day cycle, because the cycles vary between 21 to 35 days, and on average, day 14, that is in the middle, is what you call the ovulation. That mature egg that was being prepared is now being released, a sudden release of luteinizing hormone, LH. Luteinizing hormone also from the brain. It will say, look, that mature egg that you prepared with follicular stimulating hormone, release it. So this mature egg is released into the fallopian tube. From day 15, usually the ovulation is just a day activity, it happens once. And the egg can last between 12 hours to 36 hours in rare cases. On an average, you see it lasts or stays for about 24 hours. That's why we are very keen on knowing your cycle, knowing when to target if you want to get pregnant. Because outside that 36 days, that's 1.5 days, the egg now becomes non-viable. That means you've lost that chance to get pregnant. So from day 15 to day 28, for people that have 20-day cycle, we call that the luteal phase. Luteal phase means that follicle that released the mature egg, we now call it a corpus luteum. And the corpus luteum now makes the body to produce or produces progesterone. Progesterone is important for maintaining the thickness of the uterine lining, so that that egg, once it's fertilized by the sperm, it can stay and not drop out. So the empty follicle now becomes corpus luteum and produces progesterone to help the lining of the uterus thicken, to prepare for that fertilized egg so it can stay. Then the placenta can now form a new baby. Peradventure, this woman did not have intercourse. There was no sperm. Therefore, there was no pregnancy. The progesterone levels will drop. And once the progesterone level does drop, the lining of the uterus will begin to shed. What does that remind you of? Menstruation. So the cycle has gone round again. To answer the question of people asking, oh, one day before my menstruation, one day after my menstruation, ovulation happens, like I said, in an instant. And the egg can survive between 12 to 36 hours. Any time around that period may be dangerous because your sperm can survive for 3 to 5 days. So if you have intercourse before ovulation, for instance, maybe 3 days, 4 days, the sperm can still be inside the sperm waiting for the egg to come. But once you have passed that ovulation 36 hours after, you have now moved into your safe period. So let's go back to the luteal phase and the menstrual phase. If you have intercourse one day before your menses, it means that your lining was already getting prepared to shed. Anything that was there before would shed out because there was no egg. If you have intercourse one day after your period, you cannot get pregnant because your uterine lining was just cleaned. What you should be considering is the days around your ovulation day. That's why we say, look, you should know your ovulation day and your safe periods. I've done videos, I have calendars on my page that show this in detail. So you cannot get pregnant if you have one day or intercourse one day before your period. You cannot get pregnant if you have intercourse one day after your period. I hope this is clear. I'll pin this on my page so that you can always refer to it. Now, for people that their days are not 28 days, some people may have 3 weeks, that is 21 days. Some people may have 5 weeks, that is 35 days. I've done videos about this. Your ovulation will be 14 days before the menses. So if it's 21-day cycle, for instance, that means on day 7 will be your ovulation. If it's a 35-day cycle, on day 21 will be your ovulation. But if it's a 28-day cycle, which is 14 days in between, it will be on day 14. I hope this is clear. I'll see you guys on the next one. Please like, share. You can watch it many times over so that you get the crux and the understanding and also be able to teach others. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.